souls. This will be part 2 to what might be a series, and I didn't realize that. But I put out a spiritual warrior video the 1st of March because there was this huge wave of fiery energy, this I'm ready to go to battle fueling, when Michael came in and said, don't be too promiscuous. Like, let's reevaluate our approach. And I didn't realize then, nor were we in a pandemic then, what that all entailed. However, since then, we are now in a pandemic, and a karmic wave, essentially, is hitting the collective on that of a very global level. We are all feeling it. We have all been in training, every single one of us, because, while circumstances, situations, and events are very individual, energy is very universal. That of pain, grief, fear, joy, liberation, and serenity can happen to us all in very individual ways. However, the energy it carries is very universal. We are feeling that as one. If you recognize yourself as a spiritual warrior, meaning that you recognize yourself and deem yourself as a light worker, an indigo child, an earth angel, star seed, or light worker, my Valerie said that one, any of them, a wide range of names, but all with a primary goal. Our time has basically come, I feel. And while we all have been in training for this, and I mean all, as in all humans, there are many that have suppressed and haven't want to work through their own stuff. And because of that, now they're feeling the collective karmic on top of their own that they're working through. And if you've gone through this, I have to presume you have, if you deem yourself and recognize a calling. That meant that you had to go through your own training and had to go through your own shadow work or dark night of the soul. And we'll have to recognize like that. I mean, you can't help but recognize like that. With some gnarly work to do and to transcend, let alone could you imagine doing it now, being forced to do it now, as we are in isolation or quarantine. And now you have the collective karmic on top of it and feeling that pressure. It's pretty gnarly. And I think if you're highly sensitive, you're picking up. You can't help but not pick up on that, right? So they've asked me, Spirit has asked me to deliver this message, and I've tried to work a way to assimilate it. To go through any kind of shadow work means that we have to face the sides of us that are very dark, we deem not very pretty, and things we would rather just suppress, right? However, if you have, and I presume you have gone through such work, you have also recognized there's a law of liberation, and the truth will set you free, and it does. So we know that's how happening on a very global level. Our evolution is never ending. There's always contraction and expansion. Many are in the contraction mode right now. And I'm sure you have felt it. So what does this mean? Well, I have gone in and done my own check-ins with Spirit. And my question for them is what's happening beyond our eyes? What's happening that we cannot see? Because there's been a lot like there's conspiracies, there's this and there's that, or it's just a virus. And with it there comes a lot of anger, judgment, prejudiceness. There's some things that are kind of gnarly where people are responding in a way to try to serve justice out of their own anger and resentment, which all correlates down to this fear of the unknown and It's limiting beliefs. They're in reaction rather than response because they haven't gone through their own work. And anger and resentment is never a way to proceed, right? So I do my own check-in. What is it that we don't see? What's going on beyond that? And while I love my angels and I love my spirit guides and I love my ascended masters and I love all the guidance I have, they're very high frequency. They only speak that of the highest frequency in love and joy. And they see things on a much higher spectrum. But they also don't lie, which has caused my own hesitancy because the check-in and the energies I get is very much of a contrast. It is not pretty. In fact, it's pretty dark and gnarly. It's very uncomfortable. I don't like it. However, I'm reassured too, in the same breath, it's really a beautiful thing. And they use the analogy of the same thing. The only way we can transform or alchemize or change anything is to know the truth and know what's happening so that we have the tools and the power to reconstruct it, right? If it's in the dark or the shadow, like i.e. the shadow work, it's only through that light, shedding the light on something, that we can change it. And I feel like that is what's brewing. This is something that was written in the stars. I think there was no sidestepping this. And therefore I believe that we all signed up for this because we knew this shift was going to happen. We're in it. It's happening. The way we understand life will never be the same. And that's a very bold statement. But when I do a check-in, it's almost like that of good versus evil. And it feels like Judgment Day. And it almost feels like the end of the world. However, I don't know if it's necessarily the end of the world, but definitely of a new world. And it's going to unravel. I don't know how fast or at what speed. That is, again, I just feel like that's a very bold statement of me to say, because on a very superficial level, it looks just like a virus and it's just a matter of time before we get a vaccine and this and that. And there could be a conspiracy or that. I'm just speaking energy and what I get from my angels. It's a time of a shift. We'll never go back. It was written. If you recognize yourself as a spiritual warrior, you signed up for this. You signed up for this shift to be here right now. And I hope that you've taken time to think about your approach, maybe since that first about March. Because our time to step into our position, I think is time. Like, it's come forward. Now, I think we probably have felt that for a while, and I have struggled because I didn't know exactly how to assimilate the energies that have been asked. And it's going to transpire, and I don't know the timeline because energy is very fluid. I don't think they have a timeline. That's why I do believe there's going to be maybe a series to this. But even if somebody is feeling this karmic wave, which we all are, but has been resistant, and they're feeling their own fear or pain or grief or whatever of that lower frequency, they are going, that doesn't mean they're bad. It means that they're lost. I think right now, while we are in this contraction period of isolation, and while it's really hard, it's a very individual path, as all things. I think, I'm just putting the message out there. We can't do the work for anybody. However, we can help. And we can be the light. And what's beautiful about it is through all of our different circumstances and situations, whatever it is that was basically your Dharma that you transpired from individuals that are in similar circumstances and situations are going to need your help. If they request it, if they can be vulnerable enough to say, hey, And when there's enough pressure applied, sometimes that's when they start reaching out. And there's no escaping this pressure. When we go into an expansion, as I feel like we're in a contraction right now, the expansion, I think, is what will have all those masks and the things that are like glitter and gold that are all nice and pretty will be dropped. And we get to see the things that are that of truth as the light will be shed. As that time progresses, I think there will be more to be revealed and maybe more downloads. However, right now, we are reminded, and I feel like there's many of even the light workers or spiritual warrior, I might be speaking to one. Please do not doubt your contribution and what you can do. I put a post on my Facebook earlier today. If you think you're too small to make a difference, think about what the virus, something that's not even alive and naked to the eye, can do. It is really a time for us to recognize our own power. It's been a time to rethink our approach, make sure that we have purged all of ours, that we are using discernment through energies and what is ours, what is not, to be able to release what's not ours because it does not help serve. Definitely take preventive measures and make sure that you are healthy so that you can be on the front line that you have called to do. This was a part of something you signed up to do. Our life will never be the same. Things are changing on a massive wave. I don't know how long it takes for this timeline to unrelease. And it could be, maybe my angels have never guided me wrong. So it's a very large jump for me to do this, but they haven't. Things are changing. You're watching this, you've got this far, you've signed up for this. Make sure your decisions, that you're speaking your truth, that you're paying attention to your downloads and following your guidance. While we still may not be able to see exactly what's unfolding, there's a lot of comfort in knowing that there's an innate compass, our higher self, that already automatically knows by instinct what to do. We need to make sure we're in alignment and we are prepared. It's happening. And I'm assured it's going to be a very beautiful thing. But it's going to be a bumpy ride, I think, as we balance the scales. As they balance the scales. I don't know. It has felt pretty. It's a pretty big message. That's putting a lot out there, but so much love for you guys. Believe in your strength. Realign. And recognize that every decision, every choice you make is making a ripple effect right now as we speak. Do what you can to help keep the frequency high. Know that you have an innate compass that's going to direct you and guide you. Your soul already knows what to do. You just got to be in alignment. Use your discernment, and I have so much love for you. We'll see how things unfold. Till next time.